Hello, you are watching the latest edition of DBE TV News. You can watch this bulletin every Friday on the DBE TV channel 122 on OpenView at 12 p.m. and on the Department of Basic Education's YouTube channel. Do remember to share this link with your friends, family, and those in your circles. Welcome. I am Tshegohatso Moagi. In our top stories this week, Director General Matanzima Mweli welcomes his Kenyan counterpart, Principal Secretary for the Kenyan Department of Early Learning and Basic Education, Dr. Julius Zwan. The KZN Education Department suspends the acting principal at Grosvenor Girls High School. The Gauteng Education Department's online system kicks off. Phase 4 of the Presidential Youth Employment Initiative set to get underway next year. Basic Education Director General Matanzima Mweli met with his Kenyan counterpart, Principal Secretary for the Kenyan Department of Early Learning and Basic Education, Dr. Julius Zwan, and his delegation. The week-long meeting was to provide an opportunity to workshop 9 focus areas identified in the implementation plan of the Memorandum of Understanding between the two countries. The 9 focus areas include information and communication technology, curriculum development and training, teaching and learning of the key Swahili language, quality assurance and assessment, and much more. Mweli shared presentations on various areas the Basic Education Department is responsible for, this including the Early Childhood Development Function Shift.
The National Development Plan, it's very clear that there is a need for us as a country to pay attention to this area. As we all know, that early childhood development provides a solid foundation. Countries like the Seychelles Islands are a very good example of that, from SACMEC, that right from the beginning they brought it under education, and therefore they've seen the benefits of that. We are going to start only from, of course, this year to piece things together to come up with a delivery model for ECD. As you know, our provision has been in different modalities, some within the household, some in somebody's garage, some in nice facilities and so on. So it's varied modalities, and the team is looking at that to come up with a delivery model for ECD.
The Principal Secretary spoke about some of the challenges the education system faces in Kenya.
The infrastructure challenges is a huge one. About 6 months ago, our president, first of all, in the normal money, what we call the money that we send as capitation schools, we have 6,000 Kenyan shillings for every learner in a secondary school that is meant for infrastructure. So if a school has a large number of students, and within the money that we send them for the operations, they extract the 6,000 that is meant for infrastructure. Many schools use that to build more classrooms, dormitory, hostels and all that. So that is, but again, the president announced an official program that is meant to put up 20,000 more classrooms in secondary schools. It was also meant to be a stimulus package for the communities because of COVID. Up to now, we have done 6,500. As I talk now, we have massive constructions going on in schools that covers 3,500 more classrooms. We have another program called Secondary Improvement Program, which is being supported by the World Bank. It's building another 1,000 classrooms. The target is to have 20,000 extra classrooms in secondary schools to absorb the double transition that we are going to have of the existing curriculum and the new curriculum.
Dr. Juan explained how they are handling the infrastructure challenges.
Our challenge with the infrastructure is that when you go into competence-based education, you go into pathways. When you go into pathways, you want learners to bring out their potential, and then you guide them in that direction. That becomes a big challenge because it means you should have enough infrastructure to take care of learners, for example, who may want to go into creative arts, who may want to go into, for example, STEM, who may want to go into social sciences, music. You may not have all this infrastructure at school. What we are doing is trying to ensure that schools start with what they can manage. And then gradually you have this developed over time.
Now, as part of the visit to South Africa, the Kenyan delegation visited Katlehong Engineering School of Specialization. The school focuses on manufacturing, logistics, and transport and is expected to respond to the skills shortages and the unemployment crisis among the youth in the country.
The school where we are right now will be taking them through what we are doing in terms of implementation of the three streams model with particular focus on the second stream, which is the technical vocational, and the third stream, which is the occupational stream, to expose them to what is that the children are being exposed to in preparing them and equipping them for the world of work, giving them the right skills that are going to be required for them to integrate into society, living with the skills that are going to earn their own livelihoods. We are making great progress in terms of implementation of the three streams model, and this is demonstrated with a school like this, and we've got a whole lot of schools across all 9 provinces that are technical in nature, that are offering the specializations that we started introducing way back in 2016 when we introduced the 9 specializations as well as 2 additional subjects, technical mathematics and technical sciences. We are excited to host our counterparts from Kenya, and we hope that they are going to take great learnings out of their visit here.
Dr. Julius Juan says the visit is beneficial for himself and his delegation, as they can see how the South African education system is operating in some important areas of specialization.
Today we decided to visit some of the institutions and see exactly how these things are being implemented. We first started with a special needs school, how they're using ICT to enhance learning and make sure that learners who have special needs appreciate what they are doing and how to make them get integrated into the society and feel appreciated. We were very impressed. The technological component was very, very great. Now we then came to this school, which is more of a technical orientation school. We have vocational training, but they're also offering life skills to the learners. Now the exciting thing that I've seen here is that as the learners learn, they don't learn in isolation. They learn, but they also apply that into real life situation. You've seen they're rearing hens, you've seen they're doing irrigation. So they learn, but also put it in real life situation. And then the third component is that what they're doing is also used to generate income to the institution. So it is a wholesome learning, and they have also picked out that in the process, they are also being trained to develop character in terms of how they behave. The place is very clean. So it is a very holistic approach to learning that we'll find very useful in Kenya. The other component, of course, the robotics and the drones is a very new area. We have seen that they are trying to train in that in a very useful manner, because these days, the drone can be used to do so many things. We were told here that sometimes they use the drones to go and map out a building construction site, then bring it back and it's analyzed. So basically we were very impressed. We hope to continue the cooperation. The team from South Africa will hopefully visit Kenya in the next 6 months, hopefully in February next year, so that we see how this cooperation is going and what more we can bring on board to expand our engagement.
The Gauteng online registration for grades 1 and 8 is officially open. Provincial MEC Panyaza Lisufi has highlighted new changes and improvements to the 2023 online admission system, which will now allow a single application process for all applicants to apply to grade 1 and or grade 8 at the same time during the application period. The online process closes on the 19th of August.
Grade 1 in application will have to create an account on our website, that is on the gdeadmissions.gov.za website, to receive login credentials to access the GDE admission system. You will see from the system when you log in, every stage, there are 5 stages or 5 phases. Every stage you go through, the system will send you an SMS as a parent to confirm the first phase was successful, the second phase, the third phase, until the last phase. So we'll indeed request parents to have a reliable number. And when I say reliable number, that's the number that will not give to cash loan sharks or the number that you think banks will contact you on, because if you change that number, it will be very difficult for us to track, because some parents, they change numbers frequently. And that creates problems for us when we need to communicate with you. So give us that number that you know it's only you and that person that has it, so that we can be in a position to communicate with you. So I want to emphasize that point. It must be a reliable cell phone number, and you'll be in a position to go through the 5 steps, and you'll be in a position as well to get the SMS messages. Parents are given an opportunity to apply for at least 3 schools. Even though you are given permission to apply for 3 schools, after apply the first application, if you still want to apply, the system will allow you to apply again for additional 3 schools or additional 2 schools. So even though the minimum is 3 schools, it's up to you if you can apply for more than 3 schools. The system will give it. It's another feedback that we received from parents. We felt that let's incorporate that.
When we return, we stay in the Gauteng province as learning and teaching was disrupted at a school in Soweto on the first day of the 3rd term.
Everyone has their own definition of what education is and means. What is yours? TED is a show that seeks to challenge the status quo by inviting guests that have a role and an inspiring story to tell about their journey in education.
A lot of it is not learner-centered.
This show seeks to dive in deeper conversations in quest of answering the big question, why education when there's so much to do outside of it? Why invest energy and resources that are so impactful in our society?
You're seeing a cartoon character that looks like you counting to 10.
This show airs on Dbe TV channel 122. In case you miss it, binge watch it on YouTube, Dbe TV. And also don't forget to follow us on all our social media platforms, simply Dbe TV.
The Gauteng Education Department has appointed a service provider to investigate the dilapidating toilets at Job Ratebe Junior Secondary School. Learners at the school, situated in Soweto, could not begin their 3rd term after parents and school governing body members shut the school for a day. They complained about the poor condition of the school and the dilapidating toilets, which girls and boys allegedly share. The SGB has called for the principal to be sacked, accusing her of mismanaging funds allocated to the school and for not being at the school when she is needed the most. Now, following a meeting with the parents and SGB members, the Gauteng Education Department decided not to suspend the principal, but investigations are underway.
Some of the grievances that they were raising are really serious. They range from issues of leadership in the school in terms of management, issues around governance, infrastructure, security, and many other issues. And we did acknowledge that, yes, indeed, as a department, there are areas that we did not address adequately. But the meeting progressively took a decision to say we needed to form a task team. That task team is going to then look into all the areas that were raised by the SGB and the parents. In the task team, we have the SGB members, we have got members of the community, we have members of the unions and learner formations. So from tomorrow, we have given ourselves 14 days to resolve some of the challenges that are facing this institution. and after 14 days we'll be able to report back to the parents.
Now moving over to the KwaZulu-Natal province, where the Education Department has suspended the principal of Grosvenor Girls High School. This follows an investigation into alleged racism and mismanagement of funds at the school. A panel looking at the allegations listed instances where the principal used derogatory, discriminatory, and dehumanizing language when dealing with race-related issues. According to the investigations, the principal would tell teachers to recruit more white learners because the school belongs to white learners. There were other findings relating to financial mismanagement of 3.4 million rand at the school and the irregular appointments of some of the staff. To this now. Phase 4 of the Presidential Youth Employment Initiative in the basic education sector will begin in February next year. The Basic Education Department has reiterated the call for young people part of the Presidential Youth Employment Initiative in the sector to take up job opportunities available to them. This as the third phase of the project comes to an end on the 31st of August 2022. In KZN, the province placed more than 57,000 young people at the schools in Phase 3. The department's project manager, Lala Maje, visited the province to assess the implementation of the first 3 phases.
It's quite critical that we had to meet so that we are able to close on the achievements of Phase 3 and also to plan on the exit pathways for the youth that are placed in Phase 3. We know that KwaZulu-Natal managed to place 57,000 young people in Phase 3, and we want to ensure that when they leave the project at the end of August, that they are able to lead into other opportunities, and hence this planning.
Maje has urged young people who meet the criteria to ensure they register to be part of the 4th phase of the initiative.
For Phase 4, we want to tell the communities that they must go out in numbers and apply for the job opportunities that are coming for next year. The applications will be opening soon in the month of August, and we are requesting that the youth in KwaZulu-Natal go out in numbers and do that application, because we are looking for new cohort, new people that have not participated in Phase 1, 2 or 3. And I want to thank you in advance for placing that application.
Stay tuned. After the break, we see how the Free State Education Department commemorated International Nelson Mandela Day.
I am a nurturer, like you.
Real men stand against gender-based violence.
I get hurt, like you.
If I am a victim of violence, I too will not be ashamed to report violence and abuse.
I hate it when someone violates me, like you.
In a violent situation, there is power in walking away. I will not take part in fights at school.
All I want is to feel safe, to feel loved, and to be free to show love. Like you.
I cry when I'm hurt, because to feel is to be human. I pledge to be more open about my emotions.
Make it part of the new normal for young boys to be nurtured and loved, to freely express themselves and to show love in a safe, inclusive way. We have different gender identities, but first, we are human. If you need assistance to help your child, contact Childline on 08000 55 555.
The Basic Education Department, together with UNESCO, visited the Eastern Cape as part of the Policy Dissemination Advocacy Workshops. The department's policy on the prevention and management of learner pregnancy in schools provides guidance on the reduction of unintended pregnancies, management of their pre- and postnatal consequences, limitation of associated stigma and discrimination against affected learners, and importantly, the retention and re-enrollment of affected learners in schools. It also commits the DBE and other role players to providing comprehensive sexuality education as a crucial part of school curricula to safeguard learners' sexual and reproductive health rights.
We have come to the Eastern Cape as one of our critical provinces, where also we have a challenge when it comes to early and unintended pregnancies among our adolescents, and we want to engage our stakeholders from the Eastern Cape province to support us and to support our schools in making sure that we protect our girls and our young people from falling pregnant before the time, while we're making sure that they are pursuing their schooling careers.
Teachers have also been urged to take part in the workshops, which will be countrywide, and ensure they understand the implementation of the policy.
Our teachers are key in the sense that they are the ones in schools who are providing knowledge, skills, and information to our learners through the life skills and the life orientation curriculum, where they're teaching our girls and our young our young boys in terms of taking care of themselves personally, but also skilling them with those skills such as decision making, making the right choice when it comes to their sexual reproductive health, as well as taking good decisions when in terms of their own lives. So the teachers are critical that they need to join us in providing the information that is key in the prevention through the curriculum.
The Basic Education Department says it is concerned with the learner support program, and plans are in place to ensure each learner receives the social support that they require. This week, the department held the first interprovincial meeting for this financial year on social cohesion and equity. The social dimension and benefits of education have been recognized as an important contributor in promoting learner well-being, national unity, and solidarity among the different social groups within the country. The Social Cohesion and Equity Directorate in Education has focused on the key elements to promote social cohesion, such as school curriculum, textbooks, teacher development, citizenship education, co-curricular and extracurricular programs, and language in education or multilingualism.
In the social cohesion programming, we know that we've got values education, and we know that some of these values date from ancient times, which have kind of disappeared because of the fourth industrial revolution. And we want to bring back these values and bring back the moral regeneration work that we've been trying to drive as a country, so that those values come back, because our values education program is not just limited to constitutional values, but we want values that will allow us to build social compacts with young people, so that we deal with all of these social ills, such as the looting, the shootings in taverns, and all of those things. We believe that we can get a lot of assistance if we are able to reach out to institutions like the CARA, so that we see what can we get that exists that can protect the rights and the well-being of children.
The department will also be focusing on gender issues and how to curb gender-based violence.
We have started working with the NECT and with LICO. We've started a program where we're working in ECD centers, because we know that at about 6 years of age, your gender norms are set. We're not saying it'll stay like that forever and ever, because we're human beings, we've got agency, we can change things. But we know around about the age of 5, a lot of children have these things set. And so what do? When we go to schools, I see it every time I go to school. The teacher would say, come into 2 lines, males and females. If it is that it's a break and the teacher has a football, call the boys and say, here's a football. And so that's how we reinforce. In the home, the mother will say, no, as the daughter, you need to clean up afterwards, or you need to cook. The boys will go and water the garden. And this is how we reinforce those things. And the reason why we have high levels of rape and gender-based violence is because those norms are set so early. So one of the things, LICO, that we also want to do, because remember, ECD from the 1st of April is now part of basic education. And so going forward, you also have to begin to think about what are these things that we are going to do in ECD. What are the projects that we're going to do, bearing in mind that you don't have qualified teachers at that level of the system. So the kind of training that you roll out has to be culturally specific. It's going to focus on issues of language, So that's quite important that we look at that ECD space as well.
The Free State Education Department commemorated International Nelson Mandela Day on the 18th of July by supporting ECD centers with some much-needed equipment. This is an annual international day in honor of the late and first democratically elected President of South Africa, Nelson Mandela. The day was officially declared by the United Nations in November of 2009, with the first UN Mandela Day held on the 18th of July 2010. Now, let's take a look.
With what you have, where you are.
Mona re mo Mamorobi ECD Center. Jolo ka re tseba hore lefapha la thuto linkile from the 1st of April lile lanka this program ya ECD Early Childhood Development Program. Me lebaka la ho tla mona ka jeno ke hore jolo ka re celebrate Mandela Day. The Premier ya Free State o tlile ho tla fana ka dimpho ho di-creche tsa mona Windbeck tse hlwailweng tse robedi mo e le hore lefapha la thuto le tlile ka the educational equipment e leng hore e thusa bana haholo ka under the Directorate ya Inclusive Education ya me Kwelane mo e leng hore re na le program ena ya LSPID, which is for learners with severe to profound intellectual disabilities.
Mandela. Ke letsatsi la Tete Mandela la ka jokena la tswalwa ke ayo matata ayo matata Mandela ala Mandela ala.
That's how we end this bulletin this week on Channel 122 on OpenView and on YouTube. This time, before we go, we leave you with some of the exhibitions from the Katlehong School of Specialization. Thank you for watching.
Then before we take them to the track outside, we take them to the simulator first. They can practice their clutch movement and also the gear lever. Then also they concentrate on the road signs, and observe them by all means. The microorganisms help in the nitrification process, of which they convert the fish's waste from ammonia into nitrate. So this helps in the production of these greens that you see here.